What's up everyone, welcome back to another stream. It's Tuesday already, 10th of September, so third of the month's already gone, and we are going to finally start with some news starting tomorrow in the US and in the market. We had the unemployment in UK. It was actually slightly better than expected. A good point was also that the average earnings decrease from 4.6, was expecting 4.1, it was all the way to 4%, so that's good. And the unemployment at this point is at 4% in the UK, which is positive news. Actually 4.1% in the UK. Positive news. Tomorrow we're going to have GDP, so let's see if it goes as expected, an increase of 0.2% on a monthly basis. But then the big one is going to be in terms of the CPI, which is no longer that important in my opinion again, or relevant. It's always important, but it's not as relevant for the market. But we'll see. We'll see. Expecting to go from 2.9 to 2.5. Question mark is the number of CPI, is the data that's going to be released, regardless if it is as expected, even better than expected, or slightly worse. Will that affect the expectation for the Fed in terms of how big is going to be the first rate cut, 25 basis points or 50 basis points? At this point, again, the odds are that's going to be around 25 basis points. And I don't really think that the CPI is going to alter the outcome from the Fed in terms of the rate cut. So that's why I don't really think it's that important anymore. I think CPI it's following its own trajectory, unless there's a really big number in here and all of a sudden we go again back to 3% and higher. If that's not the case, and if it's just going to stay as expected on the trajectory that the Fed is expecting, then it's all good. And then on Thursday you're going to have ECB, which is another one that we are actually waiting to see for this week. We finally had a little bit of a move on the euro pairs and euro as well, but the euro index as well moved to the downside today. It's going to be interesting to see now what's going to happen tomorrow and how can we position ourselves for Thursday, which is going to be also, I believe, one of the key pair to watch and to follow on Thursday, and to look for opportunities on the euro pairs. That's basically it in terms of the rest of the week for now. In here, of course, tonight, I'm not really sure what time it's going to be. I'm going to be sleeping by then, but tonight we're going to have the US presidential debate between Trump and Kamala. So that's going to be an interesting one. Let's see if the market is already paying attention to the US presidentials or not, and let's see how it's going to be, because it's going to be the only debate between them. So let's see if there's going to be a clear winner or not at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's basically the question as well. Is the market already paying attention to the US elections or not? Or at this point is still just focused more on the rate cut from the Fed, and then leaving the presidentials for maybe next month when you're getting closer to the election in here. So paying attention to the market now, as always, we start with the dollar index, which is again one of the most important assets to follow because of all the correlation that it has with all the other and remaining assets, not just FX but everything else. And we had a little bit of a continuation to the upside, like, so we've been waiting or following dollar index to see how price may react around this level. It has been ranging, so basically on Monday it opened with this move to the upside, and since then started to compress a little bit, and today basically this is the move that it did. Like, it just stayed within this level. It looks like it starts to go slightly lower, but then just goes, reverses, and now goes slightly higher. I'm still looking to see how price may react around this level. I think there is some possibility that we can at least retest the opening of this week, so somewhere in there before maybe continue to go to the upside. Or if we do break the highs first, then you may have that retracement afterwards, and then you have the continuation like that. It may actually make it a little bit more bullish if you do go first and break these highs before we actually go to this level. So again, this is something to pay attention to. Tomorrow we have the CPI, as I mentioned. Let's see if there's going to be some kind of movement in here. Maybe it's going to use to create some momentum, since these last 2 days there's been a little bit of kind of ranging, not exactly range, but not exactly any momentum to move away and to create new PA around this level. So that's something that you're going to be looking for in here. Right, so that's something definitely that you're going to pay attention. Just give me a second. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, so nothing really changed. What you can see in here is that you start having a little bit of a few of those being broken, which starts to show a little bit of weakness on the dollar index. So that's nice to see, but we still need a little bit more confirmation. Again, price can even fake out this high one more time and get a little bit lower. Again, euro dollar, when comparing with the dollar index, it already broke this structure. All right, so the high that is created in here, euro dollar already broke that low today. It was something that we've been looking for as well, as we mentioned on Sunday and yesterday as well. So that's for the dollar index in here. On the indices, it's a lot of compression as well, so up and down. So again, opportunities for both the buyers and the sellers at this point in terms of intraday setups, and this is what usually we have around this structure as well. Again, we are still looking for potential for price to go slightly higher in here, but we are cleaning the areas, right? We basically clean a little bit of this demand zone now that was left behind. Fake out that level, we broke slightly new highs as well, so created liquidity went down, with respected left shoulder, moved to downside, respected demand, and now we are back close at the highs, which makes it basically almost a break-even day, 0.06 at the moment for today's session, after yesterday 1% gain in here. But yes, overall the structure that we are looking is somewhere around this level, so that's more of where we are looking for. Yes, we did manage to start breaking some lows, but we just respected the structure. It's always good to see some lows being broken. It shows a little bit potential indication of what to expect next in here. And personally, to be honest, I still expect eventually S&P to resume a little bit more the move to the downside. So question mark is going to be around this level, or going to go slightly higher in here. So that's something to pay attention also for tomorrow. Maybe with good PA around the London session, we may have a little bit of that move. Fake out this high again, and then you may have that PA somewhere in here, and you can maybe go, even though now we do have this structure that you need to be aware of as well. I think Nasdaq is quite similar. Yeah, Nasdaq even already managed to break new highs for today. So respecting this low in here. So interesting move. There you go, basically respecting every single demand at this point, and you have definitely still that level in there, and then you can even go slightly higher in there. What's up, Bongani? Long time, man. How are you? How's everything? So yeah, so I'm looking for price to go somewhere in there on Nasdaq, and then we'll see if we're going to go slightly higher or not. Again, as I mentioned before, S&P is still reacting from this level. Nasdaq already feel this compression, is already reacting slightly from those lows. So that's something that I'm also aware of. So yeah, so in terms of levels, somewhere around this level. Tomorrow we'll see. When the price is kind of respecting nicely that level, then in here, and if price does want to go even higher, then you start looking for price to go slightly higher in there. Let's see either in here or in there, where I'm going to be looking for potential reaction on NQ. Dow Jones. Yeah, Dow Jones. So we did notice that we managed to break that low. So we are still a little bit more bearish in here. Again, now indices are basically a little bit more bearish, expecting a little bit more of a move to the downside. It respected those highs today in here. So interesting PA. It made actually a bigger move to the downside compared with the other indices in there. But I'm still open definitely to the possibility that price can even go slightly higher before moving to the downside, and that can even create a slightly better opportunity in terms of risk reward. This is a possibility, but price can definitely still go maybe somewhere in there, and then with good PI we can go to downside as long as we respect this engulf in here. Now price actually with this low got closer to that level, so yeah, maybe go higher before moving down. Yeah, man, all good. Just come back almost 1 week ago. Came back from holidays, so spent 2 weeks away from the market, and I'm happy to be back and excited for the remaining of the year. Basically, we have 3 months and a half remaining of trading until it's Christmas. So it's time to stay focused, and I believe there's going to be plenty of opportunities. Starting already with the Fed and the rate cuts in the US and across other central bankers, and then you have US election, and then all of a sudden it's holiday season. It starts with the with Black Fridays and so on. And yeah, so it's going to be an interesting end of the year, and I do believe there's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to take advantage from. At least the volatility, I believe, is going to it's going to be present in the market. So yeah, we'll see with the Dow now. Are you still trading gold? How's trading going? All right. DAX actually made a bigger move to downside, and this is something that we mentioned as well, right? So we're looking for DAX to actually feel a little bit more of this price. This low was still a little bit far away from it, and now it got really close to the level, right? So we finally got really close to this structure in here, which means that basically feel the target that we were looking for the DAX to move towards to. So that's nice to see. Again, at this point, one of two things can happen. Either price respects the level and starts moving higher, or eventually breaks the level. It gives indication that it wants to go even lower, and then can retrace first, and then before filling the level or the next price, which means somewhere around that structure, right? So we had basically a zone from here, then broke it, and it created a new one in there. This is basically where the compression starts all the way until we go and create the last lower low, where the compression starts in here and creates the recent higher high. Like then you are looking for price to fill that space in there, at least until here. That's one of the best trades opportunities that you can look for, because it gives you a clear target of where to look for, and the risk reward is amazing in here, as long as you start trading kind of on the right side of this move in here. But yeah, so there you go. Continuation today, basically respected that high, and then it just continued to move to downside, or a clean move to downside in here, and basically respected that level. So we'll see now what's going to happen, if it's going to respect the lows and start moving higher, or if it's going to find a little bit more of resistance in here before moving lower. Again, it respected the zone underneath in here. There's maybe still levels in there that price can react from. So basically price can now fake out these highs in here, react from there, and make another move down and start trading maybe between this new range in here. So that may be the new opportunities on the DAX now, is to fake out these highs in there and get closer to this structure in here. Yeah, so you are still trading gold. Yeah, what do you expect? New all-time highs? Are you bullish? What's your opinion? Yeah, Nikkei just continues exactly the same in here. Bitcoin, big move to the upside yesterday, basically respecting one of the supply levels that we had in here. So that was one of them, and then you have the next one somewhere in there, a little bit getting closer to 59k. And you do have this structure as well in here to pay attention to. So at this point, price is still respecting it. If it starts creating momentum to the upside in here, leaving this one behind, and it kind of makes it an interesting bullish PA around this level. So that's something to pay attention. Ethereum is still respecting that level, starting to break slightly lows in here. So that's something to pay attention in terms of potentially move to the downside in here. And I do like that level, right? I still like a little bit of the extremes. So you can definitely pick out some structure in here, these highs, and then move to downside. So an interesting PA around this level could be, if price goes something like that, then goes back in there, back out, and start targeting a potential move to downside from here. So that's something to bear in mind in here on Ethereum. If something like this happens, that can be an interesting sell opportunity and creating liquidity in here, and we already definitely have a break of this structure in here. As you can see, we broke it and then we respect it straight away. That makes it actually quite bullish in terms of at least targeting those highs in there. But in the bigger picture, that can be a little bit of a move or an engulfed downside in here. Yeah, and so I'm also moving to the upside in there. In terms of the end pairs, something that we're looking for, right? We are looking for the end pairs to continue this upper move, this bullish momentum. So we kept respecting the structure, creating new highs, and respected the low once again in here. So there was no break. That actually could have created a good short opportunity on the end pairs this morning. And price, again, we have a lot of compression in here. I'm looking for price to get slightly closer to the structure. And as I mentioned even before that, I'm looking for price to even go slightly higher than this high. All right, so I'm looking for price to go perhaps somewhere within this bigger level in there, and we have this structure to create some PA, and you have this high in here to create some liquidity and create some PA eventually to look for a move down. Or price will just eventually break that high and continue to move higher, and eventually are targeting around this structure. Of course, you do have this level in here as well, which can be quite interesting, to be honest. Somewhere around this level in here can still be an interesting level. But yeah, so continuation on the strength on the yen pairs. On the yen in this case, the yen pairs, the other ones are actually moving to the downside. So we'll see how price may react from here, and the continuation can, yeah, high probability for that to happen. And you're targeting somewhere around this level. Again, as I mentioned, we can even go higher. So paying attention to any break of the lows, that's important. This point price respect to this one, respect to that level in there as well. If price does want to fake out now this double low in here, it can maybe go slightly deeper into this level and go higher, because maybe something in here is still left behind, and then price can continue to move higher like this. So that's a potential continuation setup as we get closer to the highs. At the same time, we start breaking some lows in there, so that's always a good type of PI that you can look for in here. And then you look at the Euro Index, as I mentioned, finally moving to the downside. So we had a bearish move today on the Euro Index, and we could see that also on the Euro Yen, Euro Dollar, and so on as well. A little bit of a move to the downside in here. And again, it's going to be an interesting pair to look for, or to look at, especially on Thursday when you have the ECB. Again, the last ECB, it was somewhere in here. That was a level that we predicted. The reversal in here, wanted to see the fake out of this double top. We wanted to actually slightly higher, but prices fake out double top and then move to downside. So that was somewhere middle of July when we had that last ECB press conference. And now 2 months later, we are basically back into another ECB meeting. So we'll see if the euro dollar is going to reverse somewhere around this level, or if it just continue to move to downside, eventually targeting this level. I do like it. I'm still not a big fan of where these lows are at this point. I would prefer to see this euro index to continue to move to downside, at least closer to this level in there, even faking out this low as well. I think that's eventually the target that you are aiming for on this move to downside in here on euro index. So that will be my expectation. If you do go higher first, then maybe you can have a reaction from here to move to downside. Should be expecting any reaction from here. Maybe somewhere around this level there's a little bit of a reaction to expect, and maybe can go there and continue to move forward. And that's more of what I'm going to be looking for in here on the euro index. Yeah, so that's basically what to expect a little bit for tomorrow, but the euro pairs are more, the focus is more for Thursday. Looking now at the individual currency pairs, let's go. There you go. Like, so we have euro dollar, just a continuation to downside. We mentioned that for us this low was already an engulf to downside, so we are eventually looking for price to break this low once again after that retracement in here, and now it makes it a bit more of a continuation. We mentioned also that this level could be one of the levels to have a little bit of a reaction, and price kind of in reality missed a little bit, but kind of have now that initial reaction from there. But this is already a second proper break of a low in here, which means that this turns it a bit more of a continuation to the downside than looking for a reversal or a retracement from here. I usually, if I do have a low that I'm looking for, or when price breaks an important low in here, I usually look for that first initial retracement after the first break of that low. But if price now continues to break a new low in here, then I'm looking more for a continuation in this case. Just one tricky situation about this retracement is that, in my opinion, this high didn't really react from the extreme. Alright, price kind of paused a little bit underneath. That level didn't really went all the way to the extreme, so there's maybe still left or orders left behind in there. So if price by any chance does want to go one more time and making a deep retracement towards there, I'll still be okay with it. But usually if it is the second break of a low and we already had this retracement, this second break is more of a continuation now from here or somewhere in there, right? So we do have also this week opening is somewhere in here, so a level that price can easily react from and maybe continue to move to the downside, creating this kind of a bearish week for the euro. Again, tomorrow we have the CPI. We'll see what kind of impact we're going to have on the dollar with the CPI, but then with the ECB on Thursday, that's going to be more of the focus on the euro pairs in here. So yeah, we are somewhere in here, so that's definitely a level that you can expect some reaction. Maybe tomorrow morning with the London session, maybe you go out the way, fake out this level in here during the Asian session around the London, and then you go higher, a little bit more deep into something in there. So that's potentially a level also to look for, since price kind of missed it a little bit at this point in here. So we'll see what kind of PI we are going to have around this level. And this can be one of the targets. If price does want to go higher, somewhere around this level is basically today, this week's opening, where the market opened on Monday. And yeah, so that can be a target in eventual continuation to the downside as well. Right, just pay attention to see how price may react from that level in here. And then in terms of continuation, then eventually price starts to move lower, you start targeting somewhere in here and getting closer to that level in there. So price already reacted from this demand zone. We can definitely fake out a little bit more of this level, react somewhere from here and go with it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting tomorrow morning to see how price is going to react. Again, basically Monday and Tuesday, they are kind of two bearish candles, which means that maybe Wednesday is going to be the one that's going to have that retracement at least. So that's going to be an opportunity to look for tomorrow morning. Pound is a bit more bullish in here, so this was something that we also looked for. All right, in this particular case, we had the unemployment. Tomorrow morning we have the GDP, and price is kind of reacting nicely, right? So we have these highs. The price basically broke those highs to the upside today and fake out that level, basically reacting from that previous level support resistance and really close to this level in there, and now is moving to the upside. So perhaps this can be a little bit of a retracement. Again, we have the opening, something to pay attention to as well. So we will see. It's basically moving slightly now to the upside this afternoon after basically faking out that level. So it's an interesting potential entry that it was in here. As soon as price breaks that level, targeting maybe the extreme again into that level with the target as well. Potentially look for that, since those highs are already a break of these highs in there. We'll see what kind of PA we're going to have around this level in here. Also for tomorrow, London Open. Even before that, again, we have the GDP in the UK, so expect more volatility around there. In the bigger picture, we are indeed breaking this low, so in the bigger picture, we can even have a continuation to the downside. Even though on the pound, as I mentioned, looking at a higher time frame, we do have, or I'm not really I could see price continue to go slightly higher before a big turn. All right, I'm not sure if it's going to be from here that price is going to have a big turn. We did fake out that high, but I'm not really the biggest fan of this level in there. I could see pound going slightly higher before having that turn. So we'll see if this is a continuation from this previous level support resistance, or if price does want to go slightly closer to this level, perhaps before continue to go to the upside in here. Yeah, so that's something to pay attention. Again, euro pound also kind of broke that low. We are looking for price to go slightly in there. We are reacting from that level, from those lows in here. So again, this is a typical move from the euro pound, kind of just create a supply, react from it, now moving to the downside. I'm looking for price to move away first from this all this range in there. Aussie is also another one, so we're looking for that reaction from here. Price kind of missed it a little bit, just took liquidity from this triple top, didn't really reacted from there, and we are getting closer to that level as well, right? So we're looking for price to get closer to this range in here, basically this last demand zone, to make this move to the upside. Previous level support resistance as well, looking left. So yeah, we may have a little bit of a reaction somewhere from here. Maybe can create a new low before trying to go. Otherwise, it may just continue to go and move to the downside. Now we are compressing in here, kind of, it looks like they are losing momentum. So either we kind of retrace a little bit, or we properly regain momentum and go. So yeah, that's going to be something interesting to pay attention. Also following what the dollar index is going to do at those highs. It's going to be interesting to see if dollar index does move to the downside, then all these dollar pairs may start moving upwards. Euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on in here. The rest of the Aussie pairs, yeah, a little bit in the range. We look at Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie, and so on. They didn't really move that much in here. Pound CAD is gaining momentum as well at this point. How's the end? Yeah, continuation to the downside. Again, that's basically what happened with all the yen pairs. It was a yen move, and we talked about that as well. So looking for price to continue and eventually to move slightly more to the downside towards perhaps that level, or even eventually challenging this low again. So that's just something that we are looking for. We did have this break of a high, so that's something to track in here. It's slightly fake out the high. Eventually can go closer to this level as well. So it's going to be, yeah, just an asset to keep tracking until we eventually get closer to, potentially closer to this extreme in here. And if you do get good PI, maybe we can look for a turn. Otherwise, price will just continue to move slowly to the downside. Yeah, but still not looking for longs at this point. On the Aussie yen, dollar yen as well continuing. So now reacting from this demand zone, you respected those highs, respected all those supplies in there, and they're looking definitely on the dollar yen for price to fake out these lows. Right, so I'm still bearish in here. I'm looking for price to create that liquidity to go below those lows and eventually to react either from that demand zone in here that's still fresh, or eventually to go even into this level, which in my opinion is much better. All right, so that's a little bit of a better level in here to look for on the dollar yen. Yeah, so I'm patient in here. I'm waiting for price to get there. If price does go higher, yeah, somewhere in here can also be an interesting level to look for that short in there. So something like that could even happen as well. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Euro yen, there you go. Like, let's just continue as well to move to the downside with respect to that level. We mentioned also that these lows in here look quite attractive to be taken, and price this morning just respected that supply and then just start turning. A beautiful move in here on the euro yen, and you're looking for price to get even a little bit more to the downside, targeting at least closer to that level, and you'll see if it does take the lows or not, or if it bounces somewhere from this level. So that's a one to pay attention. Again, price is compressing on this move to the downside. We did manage to break slightly above that high, so that's something in there that potentially could lead to a turn from here, but we could definitely continue to move lower and eventually target somewhere closer to this level in here on the euro yen. So I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually happens in here. Yeah, something like this looks quite nice, to be honest, in here. So more bearish move in here on the euro yen. Again, we're going to have the ECB as well, that's euro pair, to pay attention on Thursday. Pound yen continuation as well, respected the highs, just continues to move to the downside. It starts reacting a little bit from that demand zone that you had. It was still fresh. It starts reacting a little bit from there, and if it breaks that level, then you're looking for price to go lower. But perhaps can have a little bit of a reaction from here and move to the upside tomorrow with the GDP. So that's something to bear in mind in here on the pound yen, and potentially can even go there to continue to look to the downside, faking out this double top now that has been created in here in the middle, and it left this supply left behind. So that's that creates a really nice PA in here. So we have this range that you can look for. Price already broke to the downside, can create some PA in here, can pretend that he's holding and then just go higher in there and just resume the move to the downside, at least to test back into this range in there. So that's definitely something to pay attention also on the pound yen, and does look interesting. So tomorrow morning, yeah, potentially a long in here can be an idea to look for. Dollar CAD just continues. That's another one that you're looking for price to go slightly higher and to see how price may react from around this level. Again, that move in here, it turned it a bit bullish, to be honest. Good reaction from that demand zone. It's basically one of the last ones within this compression. Bigger picture, I do think is an engulf to the downside, so I'm expecting still dollar CAD to move lower, but for now let it retrace. All right, let it go slightly higher, and first and foremost, let's see how price may react around this level in here, because this was basically decision point to break below all that structure. So let's see how price may eventually react from here. Otherwise, we are looking slightly higher, but at this point it does look still quite bullish in here. You do have a target. If price retraces, this is the first target to look for, and potential continuation from here. So yeah, dollar CAD as well, something to track and to pay attention to. Euro CAD also starts to recover a little bit, moving to the upside. So we have a clearing move to downside in here, but before that, maybe price wants to go somewhere in there. So that's something to pay attention. We also have this structure in there to look for, to see how price may react, but we can definitely maybe go above these highs in there into something in there. So yeah, that's something else also to pay attention. Again, on Thursday we have also that ECB, so we'll see what's going to happen in there. All right, and we had pound CAD as well that was moving upwards in here. So yeah, we're still targeting somewhere around this size. I think this size eventually can be taken, and the bigger picture as well, it's an important level in here. So we'll see. At this point, price tried to go down, didn't really manage to go completely. So we may actually create liquidity first before moving downside. It still looks a bit bullish at this point in here. Dollar franc Swiss starts to turn a little bit, still a little bit far away from that level that I wanted to look for. Actually got really close to the supply in there, but it could go slightly higher within this range that we have. So it's back into the middle. Still not an asset that I'm that interested in looking for at this point. So let's just keep it. And then you have gold, right? Gold is approaching the all-time highs once again. I'm not sure if you are still there, Bongani. What's your take on gold? Are you looking for price to create new highs or not? In my opinion, I think we are going to have at least a move to fake out these highs before anything else. So that's at least something to pay attention to. And eventually we have this level as well to target in here. All right, so basically price has been leaving this level behind in here. So break that level, respect these lows. There's also liquidity. There's literally liquidity below this level and above that level. This is something that you can target a little bit in here on gold. Yeah, ideally you go at least higher, come back, and then target that level. That would be the ideal scenario at this point. Yeah, that's kind of what stands out to me right now. Silver also continue to go slightly more. Yeah, what's going on with silver? Basically, so since it respected those lows, basically respected that structure as well. Now it's a bit in the middle. It's a middle between that high and this low in here. So we'll see what's going to happen around this structure. Yeah, it's a bit in the middle, so not exactly direction at this point. There's definitely this level in here that is left behind, and there is definitely this level in here that was left behind as well. So those are a little bit of the extremes that you can aim for eventually. For now, we do have something else in between. So yeah, not exactly a pair to that I'm interested at this point. And then you have oil, which basically made that move to downside, breaking out these lows. Crude oil making that move. Brent already even broke those lows as well. So we're getting closer to this 65, getting really close to below 65 in here. Let's see if there's enough liquidity for price to have a reaction from here and starting to move slightly higher, or if this is going to be just a continuation to the downside. We definitely have this level to pay attention in here as a potential continuation. We even have that level behind as well that can look for another short. These highs in here never really reacted from that extreme, so that's another level that you can aim for eventually for a short in there. So yeah, we'll see. And question mark is there anything in here that is relevant or important to push oil upwards, or are you going to go all the way eventually, fake out these lows, and you're targeting all of a sudden somewhere closer to this level in here? Right, that's the question. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden you get slightly closer to that. Yep, to that zone. Let's see how price may react from here as well. Yep, so we'll see. For now, we have this highs in here to break. Yeah, and Brent. Yeah, Brent just continued to move forward. Again, same story. So it even it even managed to break already below this low and start targeting that level, and all of a sudden you have also all that move. So we'll see what kind of reaction you're going to have now below that below that low, and also maybe perhaps below that one as well. Yeah, so cautious yet at this point. We haven't really had a break of a high in here, so price is still kind of respecting the levels, which makes it quite bearish. And we do have this level as well in here. If prices want to go slightly higher, to fake out this level, can even react from here and push to the downside. So that's something to bear in mind as well. That's basically it. That's basically it for the preparation for tomorrow. I'm curious to see potential longs on the pound and also on the euro could lead into a potential short on the dollar index. Again, it's Monday and Tuesday that we have 2 negative days, even though today it was a slow day, and that usually kind of the preparation for a potential reversal. At least some reaction from where price is now until the opening of the week. Right, for whatever price open on Monday, that's basically a target to look for. In this case, on the euro, are looking for target somewhere around this level. On pound, you're looking for price to target somewhere around that level. Again, pound is already moving slightly higher comparing with the euro, and maybe perhaps tomorrow with the GDP, it's already going to be there by the time that London Open. Yeah, by the time that London Open starts. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. That's kind of more of an intraday or morning setup if that happens. Let's see during the Asian session as well what's going on. And then you have CPI. We'll see how the behavior is going to be. The indices continue to be quite corrective, now retracing to the upside and getting still closer to that supply. I haven't really broken the supply, so may have a reaction from there as well tomorrow. We'll see. Dollar CAD continues with strength, so that's interesting to see across the different CAD pairs: pound CAD, euro CAD, dollar CAD. So let's see for and until when that behavior is going to happen. Right, so we start having quite a few bullish daily candles in here. We are at this interesting structure, basically this previous support resistance as well. So we may have a reaction eventually tomorrow. Can be interesting as well to see if that happens or not. Yeah, what else? Gold, looking for price to take the highs and to create liquidity. Oil as well, quite bearish, so cautious with that one. Not yet ready to look for longs. At least we may have a retracement, but not sure if this is going to be the reversal in here. And yeah, that's basically it. So question mark is what's going to happen on the dollar. Is the dollar going to respect the highs and move to the downside, or is it going to take the highs and potentially have a little bit more of momentum to the upside, which then will lead euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on to the downside. The end pairs also a slightly more continuation to the downside, which the end index to the upside until we get closer to these lows in there. So that's basically what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow's session in here. Right. With that being said, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for another market analysis. Good luck with your trading, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.